Now that you have understood how to represent a graph using an adjacency matrix, it is time to learn about an adjacency list. That is the other way that you can represent a graph. And as the name suggests, it involves linked lists. So let's get straight to it. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. We are going to follow a similar approach. First of all, we will try to understand what is an adjacency list and how can you actually represent a graph using an adjacency list. Going forward, we are going to write some code to define all the basic operations. How do you initialize a graph? How do you add and remove edges? How do you add and remove vertices? So that will give you a good idea. And after that, we will discuss all the pros and cons about when should you use a adjacency list to represent a graph. Without further ado, let's get started. Let us say you have the sample graph and I ask you, okay, represent this graph using an adjacency list. A good idea is that you can start from all of these available nodes. So, as I already told, an adjacency list works on the concept of a linked list. So, what we can do is we can define 4 different linked lists that are starting from each of these nodes. So, what I do is I create these 4 starting nodes, and each of these starting nodes is representing one of these nodes in the graph itself, right? In an adjacency list, what you do is you start with your first node, and this is my list over here. How many neighbors does the first node have? A first node only has one neighbor, right? It only has one edge and that connects to 2. So what I will do is I will add a new node to my first list, and since node 2 is also connected to node 1, I will add one more connection to my second list. So what just happened? We created one edge. Node 1 is now connected to node 2 and node 2 is also connected to node 1. So this is how you are gonna expand each of your list. Go ahead now. The next edge is between node 2 and node 3. Notice that you are done with node 1. Now node 2 has 2 edges. You are already done with the first edge. The next edge is between node 2 and node 3. So I will add one more connection to my second list. So this is telling me that node 2 is connected to node 1 and then a node 3. At the same time, node 3 is also connected to node 2, right? So I will make one more connection. And this is telling me that node 3 is also connected to node 2. So this is how you go ahead. Node 3 has a total of 2 edges. You are already done with one of the edges and the next edge is between 3 and 4. So I am gonna add one connection to my third list. So you can see node 3 is now connected to node 2 and node 4. And similarly, you will add this connection to your fourth list as well. So node 4 is also connected to node 3. So this is how you are representing a graph using an adjacency list. If someone asks you, okay, is there a connection between node 3 and node 4? So you will look at your third list because that is where you are starting from. And then you start to traverse it. Notice that 3 and 4 are directly connected. And if you traverse this list, you find node number 4 over here. And you can say that yes, node 3 and node 4 have a direct connection between them. So this is how things work. If someone asks you, hey, is there a direct connection or an edge between node 3 and node 1? So you can start from either of the nodes. You can look at node 1 and try to traverse it. Once you traverse it, you don't find node 3 over here. It simply means that there is no edge between node 1 and node 3. And you can see it from the graph as well, right? There is no direct edge. So that is how you answer the query, hey, is there an edge between two nodes? Also notice that since it is an undirected graph, if there is an edge between node 1 and 2, there is also an edge between node 2 and 1. You can travel in both the directions. However, if there was a case that there is a directed edge between node 1 and node 4, then how do you make this connection? What you're going to do is you will add this connection over here. Now, node 1 is connected to node 4, right? But notice that there is no connection between node 4 and node 1. So you will not do any changes in your fourth list. That is very, very important. Because if you see, when I'm traversing my fourth list, then I only encounter node number 3. And that is the only edge that exists. So this is how you deal with directed graphs in an adjacency list. The next important thing about graphs are weighted graphs and unweighted graphs. Right now, this graph does not have any weights associated with any of the edges, right? For example, I look at this edge between node 2 and node 3. This does not have any weight now. But there can be scenarios when your graph has weighted edges. Let us say the weight of this edge is 4. So you need to reflect this weight in your adjacency list as well. So take a look at your second list. When you traverse from node 2 to node 3, you need to define some weight over here. And the way you can define weights is you can add one more section in your node and that will define the weight. So now I know that when I'm traversing from node 2 to node 3, my edge weight is 4. And similarly, this information has to be captured when you are traversing from node 3 to node 2 as well. So where do you capture that information? You are traversing from node 3 to node 2. So capture this information over here. You can handle this weight in any form. You can try to modify the structure of your node, or you can add this value just as a comma separated value and treat all of the vertices as your string as well. So that is whole up to you. But this is an idea about how you capture all the information given in a graph using a adjacency list. We took care of all the edges, we took care of the vertices, we took care of the directed graph and undirected graph. Also, we took care of all the weights. The next part is how do you manage when you are adding and removing vertices from a graph. So let us say I am trying to add a new vertex to my graph, the vertex number 5. What do you do now? The first thing that you do is you will create a new list. So this list has now been created, but notice that this does not have any connections right now. Also, this vertex is not connected to any of the vertices, right? Let us say I am connecting node 3 with node 5. So you need to make the equivalent changes in your adjacency list as well. First of all, I will add this vertex over here. And now I have to do the remaining part. Connect node 3 also with node 5. So I have to update my third list. So that is how you update your adjacency list when you are adding new nodes in a graph. Now, what happens if someone asks you, okay, what is the degree of a node? A degree of a node is usually the number of direct edges connected to a single vertex. The degree of node 3 in this graph is 3, right? Because it has 3 direct connections. How do you represent this degree using your adjacency list? To find it out, just go onto your list and find out the length of the linked list. What is the length of this list? The length of this list is 4, and one of the members is the node itself. So to find out the degree, just subtract 1 and then you get a 3. And in fact, 3 is the degree of this node. So this is how linked lists are very important when you are dealing with an adjacency list. To add a vertex, to determine if a node is a connection or not. All of these operations are based upon a linked list. The last operation remaining is how do you remove a vertex from your adjacency list? So let us say now I want to get rid of vertex number 2. What do you do now? First of all, you will need to get rid of this list completely. This list is now completely gone, but you have to update all of your other lists as well. So what you will do is you will iterate over each of these lists which have node number 2 in them. And then you are gonna use your linked list operations to remove this particular node. So this is how you can perform all of these basic operations on a graph using an adjacency list. Let us try to write some code around it and it will become more clear in your mind. Over here, we have a target graph. That means this is where we want to reach. And on the left, I have a sample code that will be a sort of a constructor about how you can represent this graph using an adjacency list. How do you start now? First of all, we create a map. And this map will have 2 columns. The first column will be an integer that will store all of my nodes in the graph. And the second column, this column will have my complete linked lists. So technically, I can just query a map. I can say that, okay, give me the third row in the map. And this third row will represent node number 3. If I want to find out all of the edges of this node, I will look at my next column, and this next column will be a complete linked list. And this linked list is gonna tell me that, okay, these are all the edges of a particular node. So a map enables me that I can query any node in the graph with a constant time or an order of one operation, right? To initialize a graph, I will call some operation that looks like this. I will say that, okay, give me a new adjacency list that has 4 nodes. What does this do? It initializes a hash map. Right now, this hash map is completely empty. I haven't added any of the edges yet. The next step is I will call this operation to add vertices. And this operation will invoke the function add vertex. And for every vertex, what do? We add the vertex and a new linked list in my map. So what basically happens is a map is created and I am adding each of the vertex in the first column and a new linked list get initialized for each of the vertex in the second column. So my adjacency list starts to look something like this. For each of the vertex, a new linked list is getting initialized. So this is step number 1. We created all of the nodes now. It's time that we start adding edges. Once again, I have the target graph over here. That means I have to reach at this particular position. And up till now, I only have a map that has all of my vertices in the first column, correct? The first thing that we'd have to do is, we have to add this edge, right? An edge between node 1 and node 2. So what I'm going to do is, I will call a function add edge and pass in 2 parameters, node 1 and node 2. Just take a look at this code. What do we do over here? We take in 2 parameters, the source and the destination. Source is 1 right now and destination is 2. And what are we doing over here? We use our map and then we get the source. As soon as we get the source, we are talking about our first list. So this will give me the linked list over here. And in this linked list, what do we add? We add the destination. So in my first list, I will add node number 2. Since this is an undirected graph, I need to add a reverse connection as well, right? So what I will do? I will take my graph once again and then get the destination. So this will give me node number 2 and the list associated with it. To this list, I add the source. So 1 gets added to my list over here. Similarly, to add the next edge, that is between node 2 and node 3, I will call a method add edge 2, 3. And what this will do? It will first of all call the second node. So this gives me the list and then add the destination. So it adds node number 3 now. And to do the reverse direction, we will get the destination. So it gives me node number 3. And then I add the source, that is node number 2. So my third list is updated as well. This is how you can go on and add all these remaining edges to your graph as well. Correct? So now I have represented this graph using this adjacency list, right? You must be wondering, okay, how do I remove an edge now? So let us say I created an accidental edge, that is an edge between node 1 and node 3. So this edge will start to look something like this, correct? How do you remove it? You call a method remove edge with the parameters 3 and 1. Since this is a linked list, it will be a very familiar method to remove these nodes. You take in 2 parameters, source and a destination. And once again, what do? You use the adjacency list to get the source. So it will give you a node and then you remove the destination. And then in the reverse direction as well, you get the destination and then you remove the source as well. So that takes care of adding and removing edges in a graph using an adjacency list. What about vertices now? I have this graph over here and let us say I want to add a new vertex over here, that is node number 5. This is where adjacency list has a lot of advantage over adjacency matrix. If you remember in the adjacency matrix, to add a new vertex, you had to create a whole new matrix and copy all of those values, right? But over here, it is very, very simple. First of all, you are going to call a method add vertex with the node in there. So I am adding a vertex with the value 5. What does that do? It simply puts a vertex 5 and a empty linked list associated with it in my adjacency list, right? This is my complete map. So right now in my map, I have added this node 5 and this map has all of the lists as well here. But currently node number 5 does not have any edges associated with it. So this list is completely empty. To complete the connection, you will call one more method, add edge 3, 5. What will this do? It will add this edge over here. And that's it. Your adjacency list is now representing your new graph. You see, you did not have to create any new matrices or any new lists. You can just modify the existing structure, correct? It is too quick, right? Just order of one operations. And what about removing a vertex now? Let us say you want to remove a vertex. Let us say you want to remove node number 2. So what do? The first thing is that you are going to remove this vertex completely from your adjacency list. So you have this structure over here. This is your map, right? And then you completely remove the second row. So this row completely goes away. The next step is iterating over all the remaining rows and then removing the node number 2 from over there. So you are simply running a for loop. You will iterate over each of these lists and remove node number 2 from any occurrence that you can find. And that is how you add and remove vertices in an adjacency list. This kind of sums up all of the different operations that you can perform on a graph using an adjacency list representation. Now, let us look at some of the pros and cons about when you should use an adjacency list and when you should not. One of the most advantageous things about an adjacency list is that it is really good for sparse graphs. Let us say your graph has hundreds of nodes and very few connections. If you were using an adjacency matrix, you would have to create a 100 by 100 matrix and then make all those small connections. But with the adjacency list, you can just maintain 100 different lists and have those connections over here. It is very fast. At the same time, it is dynamic also. Let us say amongst your 100 node graph, you have to quickly add 10 more nodes and remove 10 more edges. If it were a matrix, think about how difficult it is. You have to create different matrices and then copy all the values. With the adjacency list, you can simply add new nodes and maintain those lists, right? Now think about it. If I ask you, okay, how many neighbors does a node have? You can simply iterate that list and it will give you the degree of the node. So these are all some of the good things. But try to think, okay, how do you determine if a node has an edge over there or not? You will have to traverse the entire list, right? If a node has a degree of, let's say 100, that means it is connected to all the 100 nodes in the graph. Then if I ask you if node 1 is connected to node 56, in an adjacency matrix, you can simply go to that row and column and look at that connection. But with a list, you will have to iterate your entire list and then let you know that, okay, an edge exists. So all of this takes some time when you are dealing with checking edges frequently. And all these pointers also come at a cost. It increases your overall memory. The last thing that you should know is it is not good for dense graphs. Because let us say you have 4 nodes in your graph and all 4 nodes are connected with each other. In an adjacency matrix, you are taking the space of 4 cross 4, right? In an adjacency list, you are taking the space of 4 nodes with 4 neighbors and then you are taking the space of 4 other pointers as well. So that is the place where an adjacency list kind of does not do the trick for you. I hope I was able to give you a good idea about how to represent graphs using the adjacency list. As per my final thoughts, I just want to say that now you know how to represent a graph using both adjacency list and an adjacency matrix. So when you're selecting problems to solve and you have to decide, okay, by which way should I proceed? Then always compare the pros and cons of both the methods. Basically, what it boils down to is, if your graph is dynamic, if you're adding and removing a lot of edges and vertices all the time, always use a adjacency list because that is very, very easy. And if you have a dense graph or all of your nodes and vertices are fixed, it is rather helpful that you use a adjacency matrix because all of the major operations happen in a constant time. So that should give you some idea. While going through the video, did you face any problems? Or have you seen any other representations of graph except the adjacency list and adjacency matrix? Let me know in the comment section below and I would love to discuss all of it with you. As a reminder, if you found this video helpful, please do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This motivates me to make more and more such videos where I can simplify programming concepts for you. Also, a huge shout out to all the members who support my channel. This really keeps me going. And do remember that being a member, you do get priority reply to your comments. Also, stay tuned for my upcoming videos on the graph data structure. Until then, see ya.